Good afternoon, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm going to try and bring you a puzzle called Butterfly by Jobo. I say this because I tried to record this puzzle yesterday and I couldn't do it. I spent about an hour on the puzzle. This was sent to me as a 2 out of 5 puzzle, and I ended up not being able to complete it. At about 35 minutes into the puzzle, I ended up having to pause my record and then go and get some help from other people, and then I still ended up with a broken puzzle. And I ended up sending this through to my testers, and of my testers, one of them was able to solve it and 2 of them weren't. So I'm going to see how this one goes, because I've liked the Jobo puzzle I've done in the past, and I did want to give this one a try. And I liked some of the stuff that I found in this puzzle, and I want to come fresh. So this is absolutely not a blind solve. Because on my channel, it's all about the puzzles. It's not about me. It's not about me saying, look how cool I am being able to solve this puzzle first time. What I want to do is try and present the puzzle. Now, I did want to wait a day before I recorded again, and it's actually been over a day, because I wanted to come to this puzzle as fresh as I could. There'll be some things that I do remember, and that's okay. Yeah, I just wanted to give this one a try. I can't remember what I said last time when I last recorded about what's going on the channel, anything. I just want to get straight into this one just to see whether I can get through it. So let's look at the puzzle, shall we? Butterfly by Jobo. So normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Most of the puzzle is covered with German whisper lines. So on these German whisper lines, which are the green lines, adjacent digits on the line must have a difference of at least 5. We've also got grey thermos, and along the thermos, which has all share a bulb, digits must strictly increase from the bulb to the tip. So they will increase along here, they will increase along here, and they will increase going down here. We have purple Renban lines, and on these purple Renban lines, basically these have to be consecutive digits, because a Renban line must contain consecutive non-repeating digits. We have yellow lines here, which are palindromes. So whatever we put on these lines must read the same in either direction, and cells separated by a white dot must be consecutive. Not all dots are necessarily given. Now, one of the things I will call out is this grid is completely symmetrical except for that white dot down there. And this completely breaks my brain. So I'm going to try this one again. I actually am just getting a call on Discord from my mum, so I'm going to pause the video before I even start, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, that was a misdial. So yeah, let's restart my puzzle. Restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So one of the important things in this puzzle is a German whisper line. So I get to go into my German whisper rant. It's a bit of a rant at this point. So you can never put a 5 on a German whisper line. And the reason for that is the 5 difference. If you put a 5 on a German whisper line, if you were to go down, you'd have to go to 0 or lower, which doesn't work. And if you go up, you'd have to hit 10 or higher, which doesn't work. So you can never put 5 on a German whisper line. So every digit you place on a German whisper line is either going to be below 5 or above 5. And they will always alternate. And the reason for that is if you start with a low digit, you can't go down without leaving the range of Sudoku digits. And if you go up, because of the 5 difference, you must leapfrog the 5 to a high digit. So if you've got a low digit, what's adjacent to the low digit must be high. And the same is true but in reverse. A high digit, you can't go up, you'll leave the range of Sudoku digits. And if you go down, because of the 5 digit difference, you must leapfrog the 5 into low. So anything that is adjacent to high must be low. So you'll always alternate high-low. So what can I tell about this? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So this is a 1, 2, 3, or 4 simply by the Thermo, because this must increase. If this was higher than 4, if this was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that'd have to be a 10, and it doesn't work. So we know that is a low digit. Now this line only touches those 2 cells, so those must be high digits. So that's not great. Now this can't be a 4, because if that was a 4, the only digit that can be next to 4 is 9. And those would have to be 9. So that's not a 4. So this is 1, 2, or 3. Now, how do I get into the rest of this? Well, where does 5 go in? Row 2. That's right. I can't put 5 on a German whisper line, so it can't go into any of those. And because this is a palindrome, if I put a 5 there, it would reflect there, which is on a whisper line. 5 there would reflect there. So this is a 5. So, with that being a 5, means 5 is in one of those and 5 is in one of those because they're the cells that are not on whisper lines because all of these are effectively on whisper lines. Right. Which means one of these is a 5. Which means one of these is a 4 or a 6. Could this be high? 6, 7, 8, 9. No, this can't be high. This has to be low. Because if this is high, it can't be 5. This would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is a low digit, which means I can get the alternating polarity of this entire line. So next to low is high, but I'm just going to select every second digit along this line. So that includes those, because down and up, and then that, and 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 that gets me back to the start. Those are all low, and these are all high. Those are all high digits. Now I have 4 high digits in this box, and that can't be a 5. So that's a low digit. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, because it couldn't be a 5 and it couldn't be a high digit. And this can't be a 5. And this has to be higher than a high digit, so it's a high digit. So this is 6, 7, or 8, and this is 7, 8, or 9. But this can't be a 6, because if this is a 6, both of those would have to be 1, the only digit that's far enough away. So this is 7, 8, and this is 8, 9, because this has to be higher than this. So there's a 6 there or there. Okay. What more can I do with this? So these are 2, 3, and 4. And these are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, oh, hang on. These are both high because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are both high because those were both high. Right. This is a 3. This is an 8, 9 pair because next to a 3 on a whisper line. So these are 6, 7. So these are 6, 7. So these are 8, 9. But next to an 8 or a 9, I can put nearly anything. Now, this is low, so this could be a 5. These are both high because I've got all of the low and the 5. So these are both high. This is from 2, 3, or 4, and this is from 2, 3, or 4, but that's not doing much either. Ah, this is a 1, 2 pair. Because I was just looking, these are low and they can't be 3. So they're from 1, 2, 4. But if that's a 4, both of those would have to be 9. And if that's a 4, both of those would have to be 9. So this is a 1, 2 pair. So these... Right, these can't be 1, 2, 3. They're 4, 5, 6, 7. But I've got all 4 high digits in that column. So that's not a 6 or a 7. And I've got all 4 high digits in that column. So that's not a 6 or a 7. So there's 4, 5 pair in the row. So there's no 4, 5 there. That's a 6, 7. And those are high. This is now, these are 1, 2 pairs, so these are low. And they're from 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 because I can't put 4 next to 1 or 2. I couldn't put 4 there anyway because of that. So these are all of the high digits in the column. So these are all either low or 5. These are low because they're consecutive with 1, 2, and 3. So they have to be from 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're low, which means 5 is in one of those two. Which means this has to be high. Because the only possibility for this not to be high is if it's 5. So this has to be a high digit because I can't go to a low digit. So this is high and it's the same here. This is high. And that, because this is a 5 and a high, is all, these are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are all 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure what that's doing for me. There's a 5. These are all 5 and high. This is a 1, 5 pair because that's all that's missing from the box. So there's no 1 in either of those. This is a 2, 3 pair. So there has to be a 2 on these because there must be an even digit on a consecutive dot. If there's no 2 on it, this becomes 1, 3, which isn't consecutive. So there's no 2 in either of those, which means there must be a 2 in one of those. One of these is low. So one of these is from 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm not sure. These are an 8, 9 pair because they're high and C, 6, 7. Thing is, I'm not getting forced digits onto whisper lines. If that's a 4, that's a 9. 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 One of those two is a 9. So I can't put the 9. The 9 is in one of those two. Okay. These are low or 5. Hang on. These can't be high digits. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuple. This has to be a high digit. Yeah, I've known those are high for ages. So that's all. Yeah, I've known that these are high for ages because of the row. I just didn't colour them because I missed that for some reason. But they could be any high digit. But this now, there needs to be more pressure on the fives somehow. Okay, what can I... So somewhere up here, I've got to put a high digit and 2 low digits and a 5. I'm assuming there's an important trick there. Like, I've still got to put 2 high digits in this column. I can't put it there. So 2 of these are high. But only one of those can be high. So where... This has to be high, doesn't it? I have to put 2 high digits in this column. I can put 1 in this box and I can't put it there. I can't make both of those high. So this has to be high. And is it the same here? In there, I have to put 2 high digits. I can't put 1 there, and I can't make both of those high or I'd have 5 in the box. So this has to be high. So now 5 is in one of those 2. Four is in one of these 2 because I can't put 4 in either of those because that would have to be a 9. If that's a 4, that would be a 9. If that's a 4, that would be a 9. So 4 is in one of these 2. So 3 is in one of those 2, but I already knew that by the row. These are 2 and 3. If this is 3, this is 2. So 2 is in one of those 2, but I already knew that by the row. The other one becomes 2, which makes... So there is a 1 in one of these 2. So one of these is 1, 2. And the other one is 2, 3, 4. If it's 2, 3, 4, if it's 1, 2, it has to be with 1 or 3. So these are only from 1, 3 or 4. So there's a 2 in one of those 2. And there's a 2 in one of those 2. So these are 1, 2, and 3. This is low or 5, and I can't see how to lock that out because this is the only thing in the puzzle that's not fully symmetrical. This is 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these can only be from 1, 2, 3. So 4 is in here somewhere. Four is in there somewhere. I'm still not seeing this. So where's the high digit in here? Right, no, that's important. Where is the other high digit in this column? Because I need to put another high digit in this column. I've only got 3. Those are the 3 possible places to put it. I can't put it there because all the 4 high digits are available, and I can't put it consecutive with a low digit. So that is a high digit, which means 5 is in one of those 2. And these are all high, and these are all the low, so that is a 5. Which means these are high and low. And I've got the 4 high. So this is low, and this is high, giving me all 4. This is now low. There was a deduction I'd made by this point the last time I solved this puzzle, but as I said, I broke it, so I don't want to go looking for that deduction because I completely messed this up. Now, this can't be a 6, so this is a 7, 8, or a 9. That can be a 6, though. This can't be a 6, so that's a 7, 8, or a 9. Because if that's a 6, both of those are 1. So 6 is in here as well, but 6 could hide in the middle. This is... So these are 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 3, or 4. Sorry, I'm just trying to look for... This is a low and a 5, but I can't see how to do that. Okay, so let's see what happens up here, because I think I spent, and as I said, I'm being honest here. The last time I spent a lot of time making some deductions up here and trying to make some eliminations, but I completely broke the puzzle around here when I got further. So what I did was wrong. And that's making me incredibly nervous. Now, these are high and 5, aren't they? And this is low and 5. So whichever one is the 1 has got the high digit, no, or the 5 above it. Anyway, if this is 4, 5, the 5 would have to be next to the 6. So you would have, and then these would both have to be low. How would you do that? 2, 3, 4? That would work? No, that wouldn't work. If this is 4, this becomes 5 and 6 because the only thing... No, that's not true. That might be where I went wrong last time. If this is 4, this could be... No, this can't be 2 high digits because I've already got 3 high digits. So if this is 4, this has to go 5, 6 because I couldn't go 4, 6, 7 because then I'd have 5 high digits. So if this is 4, this is 5, 6. But then what do I put here? Because this would be 2. I could go 4, 3, couldn't I? And that would work. And that might be the mistake I made last time. These are low or 5 only. These digits cannot be high. So they're low or 5. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits that can only be low or high. So these digits here have to be high. So they're not 5. Because I can't put high digits there or there. So where do I put the other 2 high digits in this row? And that's because of running out of high digits in the column. So those are high. And those are 6, 7, or 8 because they can't be 9. But these, and now I get to the point of the puzzle where I got the help last time. And I'm being clear about this. This is still tricky. 5 in this row now can only go into one of those 2 cells. 5 that's in row 3. In row 5, 5 can only go into one of those 2 cells. That is now an X-wing on 5s. So what you end up with here is, if I was to put a 5 in that cell there, that would mean neither of those could be 5. And in these rows, I would need to put 5 in both of those 2 cells, which breaks column 2. So this cannot be a 5 because of the X-wing on 5s. So, and I'm going to just uncolor those now. But that means this is a 5. And the only low digit that is consecutive with 5 is 4. This is now, I've got all the high digits, so these have to be low. So this is a low digit, and these are a 1, 2, 3 triple. This 4 looks up, meaning that's not a 4. The 4 looks across, meaning there's no 4 in those. There is a 4 in those, which means that is the 5, which means that is the 4, which means that is not the 5, and that is the 5, and the X-wing is resolved. The 4 is a low digit, and now I've got all 4 high digits. This has to be a low digit to complete the row, and it's from 2, 3, 4, and by the row there must be a 4 in one of those 2, so that is not a 4. There now must be a 4 in one of those 2 by Sudoku. There's no 4 there because of the 4 having to be in here. I can't put 4 in either of those. Why did I take 4 out of those? Why did I take 4 out of those? Because it would need a 9 there and I can't do it. So 4 is in one of those two. So that is not the 4. That's the 4. Which means that's not the 4. That's the 4, which means both of those are 9. Which means that's an 8. Which means that is not an 8. That 9 takes 9 out of there and makes that an 8, which means that's not an 8. This is now a 6-7 pair, so that is a 9. This is now 6, 7, or 8, which it always was. These are 6, 7, and 9. That is 6, 7, and 9. 9 must be in one of those two because those are all... This can't be a 5 anymore. And it can't be a high digit because it sees all the 5s. So this is a 1, 2, 3, and that is the 5. I'm now approaching this puzzle a completely different way to the way I did last time, which means this is not the 5. So this has to be the 5 because I can't put 5 in either of those two. So this being a 5 means this is a 4 or a 6. That 4 takes 4 out of there. There's no 2 there either. This is a 1, 3 pair. So I know what this is. 1, 2, 3. This is a 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a 4, which is unhelpful, I think. There's a 9 down here because 6, 7, 8, that becomes a 9. So this is 6, 7, 8. It's not done it, is it? So there's either a 6 or an 8 on this. The same as there's either a 6 or an 8 on that. So I'm looking at the whisper lines to see if they help me in any way, shape or form, and I'm not seeing it. This is a low digit now for the column. It has to be higher than 2. So this is 3 or 4. This is not a 4. This is a 2 or a 3. This is a 3 or a 4. This has to be a low digit. So this is the low digit because it has to be consecutive with that low digit. So this is a high digit now, which means that's a 6, which means that's a 7, which means that's a 7 because of the palindrome. That's a 6. That's a 6, which makes that a 7. That is not 7, which I can get from row or column. That 7 makes that 8, which makes that 6. I'm getting this very differently to last time now. This is now a 7, 8 pair. So that's a 9. That's a 6. I did not get anywhere near this last time. This is 2, 3, or 4. There must be an odd digit on that, so there must be a 3 on it. So there's no 3 on that, and that's a 1, 2 pair. So there's no 2 there. This is a 3, 4 pair. Marking a 3 on that way was dumb. But this is a 3, 4 pair. Now this could go 2, 4, 3. It can't go, this can't be a 3 anymore, can it? Because if this is a 3, this is a 4, and that's a 3. This is a 2. So this is not a 2. This is not a 2, and this is a 2. This is a 1, 3, 4 triple, and the 1 must be down there. So that's the 5, that's the 1. Which means that's not a 1. This is not the 5, this is the 5. 1 is low. definitely doing better this time. Or I'm not, and I just don't know it yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a high digit, which I could have got from the box, and it's a 7 or an 8. That's not helped me. This is 8 or 9 because it can't be 6 or 7. So there's an 8-9 pair. That becomes a 7. That becomes an 8. That becomes a 7, which I could have got from the row. This is an 8 or a 9. Four could still make that 9, which is a little infuriating. This is 6, 7, 8. This is 6, 7, 8. Can't be 7 or 8. This is a 6 by the column. So these are both 1. That's a 3, and that's by whisper. The only thing that can go next to 6 on a whisper line is a 1. So this is a 2. Now, 1, 2, the only thing that consecutive with 2 is the 3, so there's no 3 there. This is a 1, this is a 4. The only thing here that is consecutive with 4 is 3. That makes this the 2. The 3 makes this the 1, which looks up making that the 2, which makes this the 3. That makes this 4 and this 3. There is no 3 or 4 there. This is a 1, which does allow this to still be anything, except this 3 makes this 4, so this becomes 9 and this becomes 8. The 1 looks across making this 3, which makes this 2 and this 1, and this isn't broken this time. Ridiculously exciting. The 9 looks down making this 8 and this 9. There's no 6 in here, so this is 7 and this is 8. The 7 looks across making this 6. There's no 6 here. This is a 7-9 pair. And the 9 here looks down, making that the 7 and that the 9. A 7 can only go next to a 1 or a 2. And this 1 means that that's a 2. So I can take 2 out of both of those. The 1 looks across, making that the 3 and that the 1. The 6 and the 9 look down, making that the 7. These are now 6, 8, and 9. There's no 8 there. There's no 9 there. There's no 6 there. This is even, so this has to be odd. So that's the 9, which makes that 6 and that 8. This row is just missing 9. I'm basically just doing Sudoku now. There's no 8 here. These need to be consecutive. It needs to contain an odd digit, so it needs to have a 7 in it. So this is the 6. This is 7, 8. This 7 makes this the 8 and this the 7. There's no 1 in these. There are 2, 3, and that 3 makes that the 2 and that the 3. And that's the solution to Butterfly by Jobo. Now, this has had 210 solves, and I know this got posted on Logic Masters Germany, and I sent this to testers. I don't know if this has been on any other channels or anything. So it's had 210 solves, but I completely messed this one up when I tried to record it yesterday. And I'm really glad I got through it this time. And yeah, I'm blatantly honest with this. Me not being able to solve a puzzle the first time through doesn't make a puzzle terrible. It doesn't mean it should not be seen. That just means I made a mistake. I'm not the best solver in the world. Even if I was the best solver in the world, that wouldn't mean I don't make mistakes. And I just think it's terrible that a setter can pour their heart and soul and make something that is as pretty as this grid, and then because I make a mistake, that will never be seen on my channel. That is a terrible concept in my opinion. And yeah, I just don't like that at all. So thank you to the people who reached out to me when I asked for help with this puzzle. Thank you to my testers. Thank you to Jobo for submitting this puzzle. Did it cause me frustration? Yes, they're puzzles. They're supposed to cause frustration. You're supposed to look at it and go, I don't know what the solution to this is, and figure it out. And I did. It just took me a couple of attempts. People in comments say that often that they did the puzzle and then they went and redid it in order to investigate it. When you create puzzles, you test puzzles multiple times often. I mentioned this a few days ago, or about a week ago, in one of my videos, where I will often create a break-in and I'll test the break-in and then I'll add some stuff and then I'll retest. I solve those elements of a puzzle over and over and over. Resolving puzzles is not a failure. That's an exploration and doing things you enjoy. With hobbies we enjoy, we often do the same thing over and over because we get pleasure out of it. Me coming back to this puzzle the next day, and the only reason I didn't do it immediately is because I wanted to present a better video. No, I really enjoyed this time because I didn't make the mistake I couldn't find last time. And yeah, that X-Wing on fives, I needed help with that. Okay, that's cool. We're a community. We should work as a community. I'm not just a guy in a room in Australia working on my own. That is not something I should be. Thank you, Jobo. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one. And if you got as stuck as I did, I hope the video helped you to get out of it. Thanks, everyone. And as always, because I needed it, good luck with your solving.